Hello! Welcome to this video series for the Dominion Plunder preview. Plunder is the new set that is basically coming out today. Maelstrom is interesting. I could buy 3 cards. I could play Cursed Gold Copper and trash 3. And then next turn buy a rope, maybe? It just kind of auto-trashes when there's 3 of them. So rope is new. At the start of your next turn, plus 1 card, you may trash a card from hand. Maelstrom is new. Trash 3 cards from hand. It forces them to trash a card, which could be helpful. Mining Road lets you put a treasure into play, which could be cool with like Stockpile here. Or you could like expand something into a Stockpile and do that. I think I'm just going to open up with the 2 new cards with both Maelstrom and Rope. There's no village here. So there's not a ton you can do, so you kind of just want to get thin with Maelstrom and Rope and get a bunch of stockpiles, and maybe you get some Sycophants for the coins, although that seems tough to make it work. And we'll take our Rope here. We also see we've got some new UI elements going on today that are interesting. This is 3. I'm pretty happy to take a stockpile here. Next turn, I get the Rope, I get a bunch of other good stuff. Menagerie could even come into play here. We don't have that many unique cards, and how Duration Rope kind of helps that. But I think I just want to add money into the deck at first. I'm going to Maelstrom again and trash 3 coppers here, and then next turn I can trash a Curse. My opponent has just gone for Gold, Menagerie, and immediately with 6 coppers in their deck, draws with Menagerie. I guess 5 coppers in the deck, because they trashed probably a copper? No, they trashed an estate. So it's like a remarkably good draw. And my Rope misses the shuffle, but, you know, that's Dominion sometimes. I'm finding that I need to click very aggressively or differently than I'm used to clicking here, so I'm not quite sure what is going on with that. Okay, this is 5. We are mostly thin at this point. I can take a Mining Road, perhaps, for the action. That seems reasonable. My opponent has just gotten tons of good cards already, but I'm much thinner than they are, so that should be a pretty nice thing for me. I can take the final... I kind of want to add stockpiles into the deck. That was nice of them, letting me trash a Curse. Can I add a stockpile into the deck? Sycophant Menagerie kind of works, so maybe I'll go Sycophant Menagerie here. Because you can discard 3 cards with Sycophant and then draw back up with Menagerie in some cases. And I don't have a lot of unique cards other than perhaps like a Curse or 2. I don't need to get like 100% thin because my opponent might get some Maelstroms here. I guess Artificer can also discard 3. It just seems really tough to get that to work unless you draw really well, which I suppose my opponent has drawn really well to start this game. I have my Rope coming into play. Mining Road here is going to let me gain and play a stockpile, and then maybe get an expand here. I can believe in like an expand as a terminal that I want to play with. So, Road, we do that. So we've got 7 here, or some semblance of 7. So the thing we can do, we can gain the stockpile, we can put it into play with Mining Road, which is cool. I can even believe in like more Menageries. I kind of want to hit 8. I guess if I'm playing with Menageries, I don't need as many. And once the issue is that once the expands run out, the Menageries are not going to draw, but maybe the Sycophant gets you there. So I think I'm going to take an expand just to get some value. So this is a spot where I can consider discarding 3 and sort of having to decide what 3 to discard. I think I want to put the Rope into play. Mining Road. So something cool we can do here, we can trash that Curse into a stockpile and immediately put it into play with the Mining Road. which is pretty sweet. And maybe we take 2 Menageries now and an Artificer. And we feel like we are maybe a little bit behind in the games, but we have a lot more value cards in our deck. We've got a lot more stockpiles, so we can quickly ramp up and start taking green cards. I'm not super worried about them playing the Maelstrom because we still have a bunch of random coppers, and if we have to trash a stockpile. I'm slightly confused by how they hit such high price points. They open Gold Menagerie. The Menagerie draws on turn 3. They hit Artificer. They hit 5. Yeah, they kind of drew astonishingly well the first couple of turns here. So it's hard for me to judge the strength of the new cards when your opponent sort of draws perfectly without using them. If they don't draw the Menagerie, or they draw the Menagerie with coppers on turn 3, they don't hit 5. It's pretty unlikely with the open that they did to hit 5 so many turns in a row. And sure, I can trash an estate here. Doesn't bother me, and I can trash a copper. Okay, both Menageries get activated, which is fun. I don't actually think I want to take anything here. I don't have like bad cards that need to be So what am I guess the question is, what am I artificing? I can discard 2 cards for a Sycophant, I guess. I think I want to expand this curse into another Menagerie and buy a stockpile and maybe even a province. The game seems like it's going to be ending on stockpiles, Menageries soon. So I guess I will take another Sycophant and another stockpile, which we can play and discard from exile. If we had terminals, we could even like have a clean deck without stockpiles and then draw into the stockpiles at the end. But since we have no terminal to play at the end, we can't easily do that. So I'm going to take a stockpile and an Artificer and 2 more Menageries. Menagerie stockpile, Menagerie Sycophant. All those things. None of those things seem unreasonable. I think the game is ending in a couple of turns, so I think I'm taking Menagerie stockpile. And that is what I'm doing. Okay, so opponent has they eventually started getting the preview cards. I find it interesting when you're playing previews that they didn't immediately jump to the preview cards and they got gold, but I guess the 6-3 is awkward. I think I still would have Maelstrom, an open Maelstrom stockpile. If they hit me with the attack here, I'd probably just trash Sycophant. I've got a couple of those and I can buy some back. They are worth VP for me. I guess I need to be worried about them piling on me this turn. I didn't think that was possible. They would have to gain the curse, which would mean they would get a tie unless... Yeah, okay, they don't seem to be there. And I don't think they have enough junk left to Maelstrom. I can't imagine. I'm very close to 3-piling here. All I need to do is get like a Sycophant and 2 Menageries, 2 stockpiles. So, yeah, they're 1 buy away from a tie. So we'll see what they do here. Just double province. No, see, this seems pretty tight to me. If I get Mining Road, if I can expand something into stockpile, I just need a little bit to get me going. But it looks like I'm not gonna find stuff this turn, kind of sadly. Which means I just have to do like province Sycophant. Sycophant should be